Hi, welcome back. We're in the pizza place. Just beat the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle, and now we are going to order more pizza. Oh, we gotta go home.
You can fight another harder turtle if you like. Welcome back.
I'm not ready.
So, I've got some stuff to talk about. Today.
Okay. Can it be fun stuff for once?
No, it's
come
probably
on.
not. Well, we'll find out. We'll find out.
Okay.
Right. So I am still renting a flat that's furnished.
Oh
okay?
yeah.
I've never bought a piece of furniture. Really.
You've never bought a piece of furniture? You've never had the thrill of running your fingers along a fine piece of oak that is now a cabinet and saying,
"No,
Daddy wants his cabinet." You don't have that. You've never had that experience. Wow, we just got fucking hammered in the playoff. I don't even know how. What the fuck?
That guy looks like a total badass. Holy crap.
He was a geriatric, but man, he packed a punch. Crap. I think we need to ramp up the training big time and maybe do a street fight as well.
Well, I think we need to address these stats. I think that when you're going strength, apparently you need to have pretty decent other stats too.
Like what?
That's the thing. Well, I think the thing they used to say about this game was if you went all agility, then you had to have no strength at all. But I think that when you are strength, you need to have a bit of both agility and stamina.
Right.
As well.
Okay.
And I don't know what the ratio
hit this guy
is
at
to
all.
aim for.
Look,
there's probably some set ratio you need to aim for.
This is frustrating. God, he just ducks every punch.
And that's because you haven't got any agility, I think.
Fuck.
That's the problem.
The hell?
I know. It's tough. This game's getting tough, man.
I want to play Farmville 2 Country Escape.
So I'm moving.
Yeah.
Right soon, and I have to really make a decision this week on whether or not I want to get
a swanky
a place like my place,
right?
Which is a 2-bed
swanky
flat.
Yeah.
First of all, I have to decide whether I want to get furnished or unfurnished. Okay.
Right.
And getting furniture up to one of these flats is tricky. So
why? Just get some dudes to do it.
Well, that's true, but it's still tricky.
You're not going to move all your stuff yourself, are you?
I don't have any stuff.
Oh.
I'm like you. You said last week, I don't have any stuff. I've never bought a piece of furniture. I have, a couple of suitcases full of clothes and a computer. I don't have a TV, really. I don't really have anything at all. It's very lucky. And so moving into someone that's already furnished is always nice. But at the end of the day, it's someone else's furniture, and that makes it convenient too. So if I don't like where I'm living, I can move again. It means I'm flexible.
Right.
But I don't know. I don't want to buy a load of furniture necessarily if I have to try and get it out of that flat as well. Oh, I don't know. I'm just torn a little bit about it. What do you think?
Well, I think that you should follow your heart. And by that, of course, I mean pay people to do everything for you so you don't have to do it yourself, because it's a nightmare. Moving is a nightmare. You know what you can do? I don't know if you realize this, but a lot of moving companies will actually come and pack up all your stuff for you as well for a bit extra. So they'll have a team of people that'll turn up to your place, put all of your stuff delicately into boxes and stuff, and then almost project manage a move for you. I would fucking go for that. Even if I didn't have much money, I would make sure I saved up enough money to do that one. Because
would you be okay with these people handling your antique collection?
For a minute, I thought you were going to say, would you be okay with me moving over with you? to had to rapidly think up excuses. I had a whole bunch primed, actually. It was good.
Yeah, right. Well,
no.
Okay.
No.
Your antique dildo collection and your collection of pictures of
most people collect spoons, not me.
Through their windows.
Yeah.
Are you okay? I guess I don't have anything to hide.
No.
Apart from the dead bodies and stuff.
Yeah.
The skeletons.
And most of those have decomposed now anyway.
That's true. Yeah.
So it's not a problem.
I don't have anything actually. So maybe, but so they would come along and they'd be like, "What do you want us to pack up?" And I'd be like, "Oh, there isn't anything." And they'd be like, "Okay."
But the thing is, at least it would save you from not having to pack up nothing. You know what I mean? Because that kind of stuff creates stress, additional stress at a time of stress.
Last couple of times. So you mentioned sort of garbage men, basically
and
becoming hoarders and
hoarders,
and collecting a whole load of junk in their place. Okay.
Yeah.
I think that I've always been the opposite of that, and if anything, too keen to throw stuff out. Because sometimes stuff is worth stuff after a while, like old
dildos,
spoons,
plates, cups,
precisely.
Novelty items like cups and plates that have like Frank Sinatra on them or Barry Manilow or whatever, especially if they're signed by someone.
Yeah.
That shit can be pretty valuable.
Okay, let's talk about pensions, okay?
Do you
have a pension?
I had one. I don't have one now.
What happened? You have one? I didn't think you could not have one.
Well, I don't have one now. I don't pay into like a private. I work for myself now, right? So I don't have like a private pension or anything. Do you?
No, but you have a pension that you paid stuff into, right?
Well, like a social security pension sort of thing.
Like a thing for when you you go old, that you can then draw down on it pension, and have a weekly stipend. Yeah, a pension.
Yeah.
So you worked for a long time in a real job, and they put money away from you in a pension.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So it was kind of part of your salary.
Yeah.
And so basically the good thing about a pension fund is that you don't pay tax when you put money into it, okay? So for example, maybe you got paid
I don't pay tax anyway, so...
Oh, because you're living in Jersey.
That's right.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I pay income tax, but...
It's not very much though, is it? It's like 10%.
No, it's like 20%.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, it's pretty high. Like,
but is there any company tax? Is there any corporation tax?
No, there's none.
Tax?
There's none at all, which is great. It depends what you do as a company over here, though. That's the thing. Like, I think if you deal in property or if you're like a financial service, there is corporation tax, but otherwise there's none.
I see.
It's crazy. It's pretty crazy.
That's cool. So, you need some energy sips. You're out of energy.
I know.
So, I was thinking... I can't remember what I was watching, but I was watching some fucking thing on Reddit documentaries, okay?
Right.
And they were basically talking about how, obviously, pensions are something that's good to have, okay? Yeah. Partly because, one, it actually gets you to invest some money, because a lot of people don't invest anything, okay?
Yeah.
But the second thing is, usually there's tax advantage to doing so. So if you put, a small amount away a month, you don't pay tax on that. It's good. You kind of get free money, really, if you put money into.
But I like to live in the now, though. I don't want to plan.
A lot of people do.
I want especially all that money
people, sure.
now, so that I can buy wall scrolls and anime pillows with it. Because
the two problems with that are, one, if you don't have a pension, you end up working longer. Or until you're older.
Yeah.
And the second problem is that sometimes when you do end up wanting to retire, you don't have a very big stipend to do so on, unless you've invested along the way.
Right.
But so one thing that was interesting, the way they described a pension fund, was that it's a little bit like you're going to need a certain amount of things for when you are... to live, okay, from the age of whenever you retire. Imagine you retire at 65.
Yeah.
You need a certain amount of stuff, okay? So you need a certain amount of food.
Yeah. You need
and
heat,
everything.
Because you're going to be old. Old
somewhere
people
to
need
live.
Heat. Yeah.
Yeah, you need to pay for somewhere to live or own somewhere that you can live.
But interestingly, you don't need a bus pass because you get one for free.
That's true.
Yeah.
And so you kind of have to, if you think about it in purely that angle, okay, there is kind of almost like a kind of a fixed amount that you need, and so what you could do is you could easily just get, let's say, a cupboard, right?
Yeah.
And fill it up with food.
Harry Potter
not
novels.
that this is ever a good idea.
Yeah.
Okay? But you could
So
think
you're
about
basically making a bomb shelter for not when a bomb hits, but when old age really hits, which is kind of like a bomb, and you're ready for it, and you don't have a pension, but
so
you've
typically the way,
saved up a ton of food.
The way pension funds work is you invest small amounts in them over a long period of time, and through the power of compounding interest and the inevitable, as they say, growth of the stock market, it will. It does tend to go up over time.
Yeah.
Well, the stock market is the best investment you could usually make over long term. It's volatile. Sure.
What
it
about
goes,
my pyramid
up and
scheme
down.
though? That's a pretty good investment.
If that's going well, then keep it up.
Yeah.
But so that's the traditional way, right? But you could think of it because the idea is that it is everything you need to survive your old age. Okay.
Yeah.
You could think of it as a big warehouse or room full of all the food you're ever going to need to eat, and all of the loo roll, and almost like a survival. Yeah, like a survival bunker.
Like a fallout shelter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's enough to last you for the rest of your life. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And so
you could even put your own little overseer in there as well. Make him out of paper mache. You can paint him and stuff, and then when you're old and you've lost your marbles, you can have nice chats with them and stuff. You can take him for walks on the beach and everything. You love that. Be good. Because it's not going to be a post-apocalypse either, right? You're just going to be old, and you'll just happen to have lots of toiletries and food stocked up because you wanted to live in the now and you didn't want to have a pension.
I went to a American elderly gentleman's house when I was in America.
Okay.
It was one of the people who worked for Maker.
Oh right.
We went to her dad's house. And
okay. I know what you're talking about.
We went there and we stayed there. It was good fun.
Yeah.
And we had a nice time. Were you there with us? Maybe you even were.
No, I was not. No, this is before my time.
And it was a very nice sort of retirement-y place. So it was on a lake. It had a little boat. It was nice weather. It was a great place. Okay.
Yeah.
And in his garage, he had.
That's when you fell in the lake. Remember?
That's when I fell in the lake. Yeah.
And Simon was playing Diablo on a boat.
He was very, very well prepared, and I'm not saying it was like a Fallout bunker because it wasn't, but he had a lot of everything. He had a spare.
Yeah,
everything.
That's a pretty common thing in North America though, because you've got the space, right? Like, I know people that I grew up with and stuff, their parents were like that too. You'd go into somebody's basement and there would just be these like industrial sized things of ketchup and stuff.
Freezers.
There'd be like 10 of them. And you'd be like, why do you need so much ketchup? And they're like, well, we don't have to go buy any at the store for like 10 years now. Okay.
And I guess it's not that much more to think about it in terms of...
No, but they get a lot of stuff in bulk over there because of a place like Costco and stuff like that, like when you go to buy, you don't just go to Costco and say like, no, I'm just going to get like, 2 croissants or something. It's like you buy a gigantic pallet with 1,000 croissants on it, but they're all like, vacuum packed, so they last for like 10 centuries and stuff. They're preserved in the vacuum or whatever, and it's that kind of thing. So like people, you can get like these crazy huge 20 gallons of ketchup and stuff, and they just stockpile this stuff in their basement, and I think it's partly because people are lazy and they don't want to have to like get this stuff again, so they just think like, well, I'll just get like 10 years worth right now and then save myself having to get it. I think that's part of the mentality. It's really weird though.
I think the big thing is that it gets to a point, okay, when
man, we haven't done any fighting, Lewis. My training has just taken like a complete nosedive. I'm gonna save up some money and I'm gonna get a punching bag thing for the house. Okay, save us some trips. All right.
That's agility though. You don't really. Are you working on that now? Though,
I think we need a little bit of agility, yeah, because we can't really land any punches.
What the correct ratio is? Maybe I should look it up. Maybe I should
look up the ratio.
A guide for you.
Okay, you look it up and tell me what I need to do.
So I guess what I'm saying is like I watched a lot of garbage, and
yeah.
I thought it was quite interesting to just think of of a pension in that sense, that it's, you know, a kind of, it feels like a quantifiable amount in many ways, because you know how much food is, you know how much lodging is, you know how much those things are, and so you can kind of get a pretty good picture of the amount that you're going to need, okay, to live on. And what I thought was also quite interesting was that certain things, I'm not going to say that I'm an advocate of this at all, but for example, if you bought a small, like, little tiny leather bag of gold coins, okay, that would kind of be the equivalent of a huge garage full of food and stuff, okay?
Right. Yeah.
And obviously you couldn't eat those in the case of a fallout, and if that did happen, or, you know,
I was waiting for the point of this one. So basically, to sum it all up, invest in a leather pouch and fill it with gold coins.
That's the point. Yeah, go do that. Cool. No, I think that there's,
it's like a medieval pension.
I don't think it has to be. I think it almost needs to be kind of just. It's like. I think if you have a realistic plan and a realistic goal, and you know, kind of, you can kind of get a picture of where you need to be.
Yeah.
Okay. Then you don't have to pay pensions in when you're young necessarily. I think that when I said how much pension you have at the start of this, you know, I wondered, you know, if you actually have. You must have put away through doing 10 years of work at the banks or whatever.
Yeah. I've got a bit of a
decent
pension,
amount of money
for sure.
in a pension.
Yeah.
And, you know, that probably is a good way towards.
I don't think it's like a leather penny pouch
full of gold coins.
Golden coins worth, though. Like, because no, that's the thing. These things are designed to be paid in, like, over the course of, like, your working life. So, like, I guess what's that, like 50 years or something like that?
And often you can't access them either. There's no way you could sort of convert these things into any kind.
No, yeah, and if you ever needed
stuff.
the money in an emergency or whatever, like, these places hang up on you as well. They're happy to take your money every month, but oh my god, they don't want to talk to you. That's the way it goes,
you're not allowed to touch it until you're
not. No,
55 or 65.
You can't touch
this
money, even though it's yours. Oh well. Anyway, join us next time where we talk more about your money and how people want to steal it on Team Deprecated Dingoes.
Denominated. What's a financial thing beginning with D?
Denominations.
That's what I kind of already did that.
Denominated denominations. Bye.
Okay, I'll think of something. All right, bye.